Welcome back to the Better Everyday podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and this is my beautiful wife, Grace Garcia.
Hey.
We are back better than ever because we're better every day. Every day. Not some days. Every day.
Correct.
Well, today is season 3, episode 11. And we're back. We're back.
We are back, indeed.
I didn't plan an opening line here.
It's okay.
I don't want to do your, so what updates do you want to do?
That's a good opening line. Look at the views when I do that versus you. Let's see.
Yeah, we don't really have much updates, right? I mean, life has kind of just been on a rhythm now.
Correct.
And the only thing is I've extended my busyness for one more month. That's about it. I've been helping out a church with worship and stuff. And so they asked me to stay on for one more month. So I am helping them for one more month in the month of May.
Oh, I just thought that means you're probably going to be gone for that Mother's Day service.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but you're not my mother, so.
I'm the mother to your children.
I didn't think about that.
It's okay.
No, I know it's okay. You told me to do it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I just said, why not?
Well, anyways. Yeah. Do you have any updates?
I know, just counting down the days till summer vacation. Students are state testing, and I don't know if you guys remember when you were back in school, but they don't like it. So then when they'd have a non-testing class, they just let out all their energy. And so I'm just holding on teaching, because I feel like after a while, they mentally check out too when they know summer's coming. And so trying my best to not mentally check out on them, because they deserve the best version of myself as a teacher. But summer is definitely right there. I see the end of the light.
End of the line until you start doing it again.
Until I have summer school.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's probably a new update. I'm doing summer school.
Yep. And for summer school, it's all good. It's all good because we are going on a trip, and Honey Boo Boo over here needs money, and she gets to keep half of her summer teaching job paycheck. So she'll have money to throw up on that trip, and hopefully she'll spend some on me, get me a little suit or something,
Petition to keep my money so I can spend money on you.
Give me something.
Yeah, petition to keep all my money so I can give you something. I'm just kidding.
That's messed up, yeah.
You make more money than me.
All of a sudden. Now you want to be humble.
Yeah, I have 2 coins to rub together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyways, besides that, I guess let's just get on with the episode. Today, I thought of, I think, a pretty good topic, hopefully. And hopefully you guys relate to having good topics, because you guys only think that Grace has good topics. So,
you guys, come on, our 8 viewers, 16, sometimes 50. Let us know, what do you want us to talk about?
Oh, I actually did have somebody give a suggestion, and I kind of forgot about it, but it's on the list. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about that one of these days. But I actually was thinking about, so we're obviously the Better Everyday podcast. We talk about things of how we can become better, and sometimes we have kind of like off topics like government and stuff, and we try to tie that in with like, how do we be better?
No, that ties in.
But anyways, I just thought about it, and I'm like, well, I thought about it because we're doing that financial freedom like tribe group, like a 10-week program, whatever, where we're basically just imparting knowledge on all the people showing up. And the second week, we talked about the spiritual side of money. So what does the Bible talk about? On the third week, we talked about the emotional part. So all the emotional ties that we have with money, how we can be emotionally triggered, how there's wounds when it comes to money, and how we have to like address those and surrender them to God and stuff. And then this week we're going to be talking about the mindset part, the mental part, basically the practical part. And I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm glad. Like honestly, I feel like a lot of what we're doing is based off of like Dave Ramsey's like program, but he kind of like sprinkles the three things that we've kind of highlighted like throughout his program, whereas we kind of like decided let's start off with this. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I thought it was important, but I didn't know how important it was until kind of like this week where I've been thinking about like, well, we've been working with people, and it just made me start to realize like, oh, like I think what we did or what we're doing, I guess, in those 3 weeks is kind of filling a gap. And that's what I want to talk about today, because we told everybody that showed up to this financial freedom thing, like, we can give you all the practical steps, but if you aren't aware of the spiritual, emotional, and mental part of it, then it's no good that you have all these practical things because you won't do them. And then as I was thinking about that, I'm like, really what we're doing is we are filling a gap. So we are bridging the gap between the knowledge and the actual doing. And so that's what I want to talk about today, because we talk about a lot of the knowledge stuff. Mm-hmm. We bring things up to the light. We're like, this is where you should be better in this area and that area and blah, blah, blah. And like, this is where we need to take care of this and that and da, 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 da. Like just a lot of knowledge and a lot of like we can call it like revelation or whatever. But the one thing that I've said here, and I've told you, my pet peeve with church a lot of times is like, okay, cool. Like you've highlighted it, but now how do I actually like walk in that? How do I actually do this stuff? Right? Because some of the stuff is like a lot easier said than done. Like, you sometimes you need a mentor, and you need somebody discipling you. You need somebody walking with you to like, kind of like show you the ropes or whatever. And so I just thought like we should talk about bridging that gap. And what I mean by that is like, again, we can have all the knowledge. We could talk about health, and everyone already knows we need to eat better. We need to sleep better. We need to exercise. We need to move. We need to get our daily steps in. We need to eat organic foods, whole foods, so on and so forth, right? And that's like the knowledge part, but the practical part, like for example, myself, I'm not going to lie to you guys and say like, Grace likes to hype me up a lot and say like, I'm a person that has a switch and I'm very disciplined. And I am for the most part, but there are times, especially with the food area, when I lock in, I can lock in, but I'm not going to lie. There are times where I'm just like, I look, especially, and that's why I always tell you, like, don't bring cookies into this house. Don't let me see cookies. Don't let me see ice cream. Candy. Like, don't let me see it. Because if I see it, like the triggers start going and the emotions start going. And I've never really thought really that deep into it, but maybe we'll dissect it or whatever, but maybe not. But my point is that there are times where I will give in to the emotions, to the craving, to the temptation, and I'll give in and let's say, for example, my job will get donuts on Fridays or whatever, and I'll walk by and like when you're like quote unquote starved of something, the moment you walk into the room, like you smell the sweetness, you smell the sugar, you smell the glaze on these donuts. I do. And then once I smell it, like then you start like, you're like that, what's that experiment or whatever where you're like
salivating?
Yeah, that's not the experiment.
Oh, but you're conditioned.
Yeah, that's not the experiment name though. You used to tell me the experiment name, but you probably don't remember. But there's an experiment, I'm
Pavlov.
Sure, Pavlov, where there's like a certain thing where you start it triggers something in your mind, and then your body already starts reacting to it, like, oh, you're about to have it, whatever. So I'm like that. I walk into the room, I smell the sweetness, and I start like imagining the taste or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that would be so good right now. And there have been times where I'm like, all right, you know what, just like a tiny sliver. So I'll grab a butter knife and I'll cut a tiny sliver and I'll eat it. And for me, it's like just to kill the craving, right? And I walk by that lunch room, I don't know, I'd say like 5 to 10 times a day. And for me, because I'm so black and white, like the moment I take a sliver, then, oh, I have to go to the restroom again. Because the restrooms are right around the corner from the lunchroom. And so I'll walk by and it's just another sliver. It's not a big deal. And little by little, I've finished this donut. And so how many times have we set out to do something and we've kind of fallen short in some times, which, I mean, nobody's expecting perfection, but like, let me get to the point of you fall short only to get to a point where like in your brain, before you even step into it, you're like, the satisfaction is going to be out of this world, especially since I haven't had anything like this in a long time. Like, oh my goodness. And you have it, and then you're just like a little bit, and then a little bit, and a lot of little bits turn into a lot. And then you get to a point of like, I ruined today. I messed up. Because, and this is just in my perspective, maybe some people are not like me, but I am in a, I take like a 24-hour day, and I'm like, if I mess up a little bit, there's a friend of mine, a friend of ours, I'm not going to say who it is, because he's kind of an influential person, but a friend of ours that says, if you're going to sin, sin good, which what he, and whoa. But what he's trying to say is like, if you're going to step a foot into the pool, like just jump in the pool. Like
there's no point.
Yeah. And like, I'm kind of like that where I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to go home and have cookies and chips and blah, 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 blah. And like, whatever I see, I'm going to just devour because I already had this donut and this donut ruined my day. And now I have the excuse to just like, oh, I'm going to go all out. So my point with saying that example is like, how many times have we set out to do something only to like have a moment of failure or a moment of a setback, and you just get to the point where like, I regret that. That was not worth it. But you already did it. You already stepped into it, right? This could be seen in the financial place where you're like, I'm going to do this. I need to get out of debt. I need to save money. I need to save for my kids' colleges. I need to save for quinceañeras. I need to do all these things. And then you find yourself booking like a dude's trip or a girl's trip or like whatever, like just to be like, oh shoot, like I just spent like $3,000-$4,000 or whatever, and just like that definitely could have been used to like move forward in my plan. Or like another one, like somebody has an addiction to alcohol, and you're like, okay, I know I need to stop this. This is affecting my life. Or an addiction to drugs, or an addiction to like pornography or whatever. And you're just like, I know I should not be doing this. I know that there is no benefit to doing this. But we're all kind of hardwired to like the moment you have a touch of dopamine, you're like, I need to go to that dopamine all the time. Like, I don't know when I'm going to get any sort of hit of dopamine, so I'm going to hit it now or whatever. And so what I'm trying to get at is you have the knowledge, you know what is right, what you should be doing. But really what I want to talk about is what are the things stopping us from actually doing it, right? And then like I made a list here. And I'm going to list them off quickly, and then I'm going to ask you, where do you think, where do you lie or whatever? So some reasons why we don't do the things that we should be doing, or the things that hold us back. And number one is fear, obviously. Number two is addiction to comfort and instant gratification. Number three is lack of clear vision. Number four is identity conflict. Number five is lack of self-dominion. Number six is environment and influence. Number seven is hidden shame or guilt cycle. Or number eight is pride. So, is there an area in your life where you feel like there is something that you know you need to do, you should do, but a lot of times or sometimes you fall short? And if so, what do you think is the reason?
The first thing that came to my mind, because I'm sure there's probably more areas in my life, But the first one is my social media that came up. And why do I not do the things that I know I should do? I would say comfort, number 1. Exhaustion, number 2.
You think you're saying that social media gives you comfort?
No, like I am choosing to be comfortable rather than like thinking and creating and doing.
Okay.
Like I prefer my comfort.
I don't know if I grasp that, but okay.
Like someone, for example, just take my example and put it to the gym. Someone's going to choose to not go to the gym because they're comfortable. They don't want to stretch themselves. Or they don't have the need to get out of their comfort zone.
Okay, so what comes to mind is that verse, many people will enter through the wide gate and the wide path. Many people will travel through it, and that's the one that that path leads to death or something like that, it says. And then the narrow path is the least traveled, the harder path, but that one leads to life. And so basically you're saying that a lot of people, or you, choose to not go through the harder route.
Correct. Because we like our comfort.
Who's we?
People.
I thought you were talking about you.
I am, but that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I think exhaustion, but it leads back to comfort.
Mm.
A part is like laziness. Like, you know, it's a big task. And so it's kind of like procrastination, if that makes sense. Because it can be like overwhelming.
I get you on that a little bit. And I did want to talk about this because I personally, I think am in this arena in some areas of my life. I could see the procrastination, and I could see like you kind of like keep pushing it down the road. And I think that, and maybe people haven't really thought about this, and hopefully like this resonates with somebody, but like maybe the reason that we procrastinate, maybe the reason why we kind of don't do what we know we should do is because although we know that it's the right thing to do, and although we have heard that it works for other people, we haven't really tangibly seen it. Like we didn't see it in our parents, or we didn't see it people around us. And so maybe there's a part of us that believes it's not actually real. Maybe there's a part of us that believes like it's just a fairy tale. And then if you have that thought, if you don't believe that it could happen, then yes, of course, you have in your mind more reasons for you to kick the can down the road. Because you're just like, who's to say that this is actually going to happen? Mm. Like, for example, in this regard, it's for me with working out. When I used to work out, I wanted that magazine Brad Pitt chiseled body. And as much as I worked out, like, and I really don't like how much of a science working out is, and like you like actually get into that physique, whatever, like naturally, okay, because it's such a science. Like I've heard doctors talk about it. I've heard like personal trainers talk about it, like how each body processes, like, let's say like glycogen or carbs differently, and proteins, and how much fiber that you actually need, and like taking samples while you're running or whatever of your lactic acid, and how fast your body removes the lactic acid and processes everything. Like it's such a science. Like it's not like a one size fits all for everybody. And so I used to be in the mindset of like, I just need to work hard and then I'm going to get what I desire. And that's not entirely true, because you can work out hard, but you don't eat right. Okay. So now you're like pulling yourself back, whatever. Okay. Now I'm starting to eat right and I'm working out really hard, but now we find out that you can't just work out hard every single day. you need rest days and you need active recovery and you need to allow your body to like heal. And again, you don't know how fast your body heals because your body might not heal as fast as the Bobby Joe beside you or whatever. Like, but my point is that like I got to a point where I'm like, okay, like I don't think I'm ever gonna have the body that like that magazine body. And then I've also come to the realization that many of those people that are magazines like are doing some sort of stuff, taking some sort of stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's just a fairy tale, right? And so there's moments. I think that's why back in the day, I used to tell you all the time, I used to only last in the gym for like 3 months. And then I used to take a long hiatus and I'd come back for 3 months and a long hiatus and back for 3 months. And honestly, that's kind of cool because things did not change until my vision changed. Because my vision changed from, oh, like I want that rock hard body, whatever, to no, I just want to be active. I want my like internal systems to be working well. I want to be able to live a long life and I want to be able to be a functional human being. So like, I want to be able to like, if I have to jump a wall, I can jump a wall. If I have to pull myself up, I can pull myself up or whatever. And so when I started changing that, then the consistency was just like, okay, boom, I don't have to stop. Like ever since then, like the only reason I've stopped is I've been injured.
So do you think sometimes it's that we have too big of a goal or like too unrealistic of a goal?
Unrealistic could be the thing. And if you resonate with the thought of like, I actually don't think that this is an actual thing that can happen, I think you should take a moment to really meditate and analyze if what it is that you're going for is actually unrealistic or not. Like, for example, me going for like a rock hard body, like, again, like the reality, and I've heard now of many people, because now people aren't really like shy about it or they don't really try to hide it anymore. Like they're openly like, yeah, I'm on gear and I'm on steroids and I'm on peptides or I'm on this and that, whatever. Like that's how I got to look like this. And it's just like, oh, okay, like I have to take that stuff to look like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to take that stuff. So I'm okay with not looking like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, now I've seen like it's realistic if I take this stuff. Now it's like the question of, do I want to take that stuff? Is there value in me taking that stuff? And, you know, not knowing or accepting the side effects of whatever it is I could be taking to get this. I'm like, no, that's not worth it. Like that whole vanity thing is not worth it. But like another example could be like, somebody could have a hard time believing that they could be financially free to the point where they'll have money for their kids' colleges, that they'll have money for their kids' future, that they'll like if they pass away, they're gonna leave an inheritance. Like people can feel that that's a far-fetched thing, and you know, like in that regard, the easy path would be like, no, that's too hard, so I'm just gonna live my life. But realistically, if we want to talk about realistically, it's completely possible for anybody at any stage, at any age. And so, yeah, I think there should be a analysis or it should be like some sort of meditation. Like you should be, what's a better word that I'm trying to look for? Like you should be just like filtering out to see like, is this possible or not?
I think one of the things that I struggle with is in the beginning, I feel like it's easy for me to have these far-fetched goals or like quote unquote unrealistic or that seem too good to be true. And then maybe it is like within the realm of reality, you're like able, but then I start thinking, what if God doesn't have it for me? So then you could take a realistic goal, right? And then I guess talk yourself out of it.
What would be something that you feel like
my social media.
Okay.
Like it's realistic. I've seen normal people go viral all the time and people grow and make it a business and a livelihood. Like they're quote unquote living the best life, like being their own bosses and stuff like that. And I think I gave it my all because I believed I wanted it. And then I saw, like we tangibly saw that it was possible.
Yeah.
Like we saw lots of money come in. And then it started dying down and then I tried and I even asked, like I meditate. I'm being completely vulnerable here. I meditated, prayed on it, journaled, even kept data because I wasn't seeing growth. For 2 years, I have not seen growth. I have data for 2 years ago, like my following, and it just has stayed the same. Goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes down. And then you used to like the count, whatever. But then I wonder if like I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, God, like I don't want to waste my time knowing it could be realistic. And that's why I'm like continuing to hit it. But if it's not for me, you know? Because I think you can like work hard at something and it's going to produce, like it's just law, like, right? Like what comes up must come down or certain things, right?
Okay.
Like if you run, you're going to lose weight or whatever. But then there's certain things like you might not ever be like the first marathon winner or whatever. You know, like there's certain things where it's like the excellence and stuff.
Okay.
And so I feel like I talk myself out of it. Like, okay, it's possible. It's within the realm of possibility. Like I can get there, but is it not for me now?
Okay, let's dissect that because that's going to be interesting. Because maybe somebody might be in the same boat, might be relating to, maybe not just in like the social media part, but in any part of their life where they're like, okay, maybe this is just not for me. My question to you would be, do you feel like you are doing everything possible to make it grow?
No, I feel like I did, and then I got tired.
No. Do you feel like...
No, not now, currently. No.
Okay. So what you're saying, are you then saying, okay, no, fine, I'm not going to imply that you're saying this. So I'm going to ask you, do you feel like you burnt out?
For sure.
Okay.
I feel like I burnt out.
Now reaching, because I could see you get into a point of burnout. And when somebody reaches a point of burnout, it's usually like in their mind. And when your mind is tired and it's telling you that it's tired, and then on top of that, you're not seeing any growth. And so you don't really have like the dopamine hits of like reasons to why to keep going back to this thing. Then of course, your mind, your body, your flesh is going to be like, why do you keep doing that? Like there's no reward in that. But now my question is, do you feel like there would be reward if you kept doing the right things?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I saw the growth. I still see that it's like a possibility. But I think it just sucked that like so many wrenches got thrown in. First, it got banned. No, first it was like the algorithm was slowing down. Then it got banned. Then a new sale owner. And then you see all of these like what worked before didn't, which is not necessarily bad. Like you just have to be more creative. But it's like I'm in a place in my life where like unfortunately this cannot be the only thing I focus on. So then it be like the fun, the quote unquote like fun got taken. Like I was doing it and it was easy to maintain because it was fun. And obviously I know like I'm working out and I haven't worked out for a year, but I'm assuming it'll get to a point where like the newness rubs off and maybe like you start plateauing and you just have to like continue because you know it's good for you. And I feel like I've been 2023 is when we started, right? Because that's my email.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 years. And yeah, these last 2 years not seeing growth has, and again, I feel like I haven't been not consistent for the last 2 years, but it's definitely.
Okay, I really love your attempt to try to like sidetrack and take it to like the workout rather than talking about the social media part.
No, we could talk about it. I'm just
Number
giving an
two, I
example.
love that this week I am in charge of talking about the mental part of finances because
I'm not capable.
No. Because like while you were talking, there's things that I'm going to talk about that now I'm going to tell you.
They're going to use me as an example.
No, I'm not gonna use you as an example in front of everybody, but it's great that like I've been making like the presentation or whatever, and like you know like this is all coming up because you started listing off all these things of like why
excuses, I know.
They are excuses. And one thing that I'm going to talk about this week about the mental part of the finances is the ownership and responsibility that it takes for you to make your dreams come true. So when you have an ownership mindset, you don't make excuses. You take full responsibility for what is happening. So that's why I asked that first question of are you doing what you know first got you to the ball game, and are you keeping that up? And your answer was no. And the one thing, I forget when I said it, but we talked about it 2 weeks ago or something like that. I don't know, but the habits, the consistency, and the discipline that gets you to where you want to be. Oh, I remember now. Is what's going to keep you there. And I remember me saying this to you when you were talking about, I just want to I just want to live a life where I don't have to worry about budgets and whatnot. And then like I really started talking about it, and there was a couple of people that talked to me about it, and I'm like, I mean, homegirl is like what like this girl knows better. And I'm like, this girl knows like there will never be a point where you just get to drop your habits. Like the habits that got you to where you want to be are the habits that are going to sustain you there. Mm-hmm. So you get to a certain point, and for a bit you don't see growth, and you go, well.
You think 2 years is a bit?
I mean, I don't want to get into like the nitty gritty of like the timeline or whatever, and like start discussing like the whole, like, again, the just the nitty gritty of like, when did it happen? How long did it happen? Whatever, because that's not what this episode is about. But what I'm trying to say is like it, and especially like, I mean, you kind of, I don't know whether intentionally or accidentally kind of just like you blurted all these things out of why it is that it's not happening. And I mean, to anybody, I mean, I hope you guys don't think I'm being harsh, but like, it sounds like excuses. And especially when that together with the evidence of, I asked you, are you doing the same things? And you said, no, I'm not. Then it's like the evidence is starting to stack towards you stop the habits and the discipline and the consistency that got you to where you wanted to be, where you started seeing a lot of success. You stopped it. And then not only that, then you let go of the responsibility, and you're like, well, this is not my fault. Like, here's all the 5-6 reasons why like it's not happening. When in reality, like the core question will always be, are you doing everything that you can possible to make your dreams come true? And now on top of that, I would also ask you, like, you clearly had a goal. Although every time you're like, I don't really have a goal. Like, I don't know where it's going to be, but you clearly had a goal, because when you got to some sort of stagnation, you mentally like just dip. And so you clearly, and I don't know if you want to say it or whatever, because you've never told me, but like, I don't know if your goal was like 100,000 or 1 million or if your goal was like constant revenue or whatever it was, but you clearly got to a point of disappointment where you're like, okay, I'm stagnant. I'm not moving. All this effort is not worth it. I'm done with it. But at the same time, like you're a very like, you're a 3, and like when somebody knows that you're doing something, you can't just back out of it, because I don't know for sure, but I assume, putting myself in your shoes, that you would feel like some sort of failure if you openly said, I'm kind of walking away from social media, where everyone would be like, well, why? So I see you in kind of limbo where you're like, I can't openly say that I'm done with.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I'll ever be done with it, because I started it because I liked it. Mm-hmm. Like, I genuinely, even before TikTok, I said this before, like, even I would pretend to film videos and not put them up, and my sister found them. Like, I just liked it. I found joy in it. And I think, like, with anything, right, when you have a job and you're trying to get in a certain quota, then it kind of, like, sucks out the joy of it. But, yeah, I don't think I'll ever, like, stop it, because I like it. And then there's always that thing in the back of my head, like, they always say, the people, well, besides the ones that's like viral and it's just like a one-hit wonder or whatever, like something just randomly happens or God made it for them at that moment. Mm-hmm. Besides those things, people always say like it was, you never know what video. It's like that mine picture, right? Where they're mining for gold. One guy gives up and he didn't know that he was right there. Mm-hmm. And the other guy keeps going. And so I always tell myself, like, what if it's just another year? And I'm just like, that person who's like, I was about to give up, but I just kept going. And before I knew it, it was the next year, or like 3 videos, or 5 years I was consistent. And you see like people with millions of followers. It's like, I was consistent for 5 years when no one was. And, you know, like I think of those things.
And I think this example is perfect for this topic of like, what are the things that you know that you should be doing, but there's something that's in the way. There's something that's burning that bridge between the knowing and the doing, because you've gotten to a point, right? And I think there is still hope in you where I think I could still do this. And I think like I was going to ask you, but I don't think there's a point of asking you, but I was going to ask you, like, do you think you've reached a level of contentment, or do you feel like it's a level of failure for you? And I think that you see it as like a level of failure where you're just like, I'm not growing, like, and then you're just like, okay, well, I'm not going to waste my time and yada, yada, yada. And then you have like your list again of like, well, I got my room taken away and I got this happened and that happened. And
I didn't even
TikTok.
explain that.
You don't have to. Anyways. But I would like to believe that there's a part of you that is kind of saying like, keep trying, because there's probably a part of you that's saying, well, I am trying. I'm just not posting 3 times a day. And every time that anybody asks you about social media, what's the first thing that you always tell them? You got to post 3 times a day if you want to make it. And you've told one person that, which is your sister, and she's been steadily growing, very steadily. And she's got like some good, like some hits on her TikTok. And actually she surpassed us on TikTok.
Shout out
so
Melody.
Shout out Melody. But so I lost my train of thought, but let me see. Yeah, so you got to a point where you're just like, okay, like, and you brought up that example of the 2 guys are mining diamonds. It is. We've put up this image so many times. I'm not going to put it up again. But they're mining for, and the one guy is like an inch or 2 close, and he walks back. And I don't think that you've walked back and given up. And I think there's a part of you that thinks that you're still digging. But I think if you're digging, you've gone from digging with a pickaxe to digging with a spoon. And you're like,
yeah,
maybe eventually I'll break through.
I agree.
But like, this is like as much as I'm willing to do right now.
Yeah, and I think I have to ask myself if that's bad or wrong, because I added more on my plate since then. I wasn't as involved in church. I wasn't working out. I wasn't training for marathon. And so I have to like ask myself, like, is that okay or is it not okay?
I think only you could say that. I guess you and God, right? Because yeah, there is that question of like, does God want you to do this, right? And I don't know, maybe you don't have a clear answer. But then the real thing is now, is this really your passion, or this what like a dream of yours? And the reason why I bring this up is because many years ago you had a YouTube and you were growing it, and then you stopped. And then all of a sudden you came back and you were basically like, I always wanted to do this. And so I, as your husband, don't want you to get to that point where you kind of like let go and you're like, oh, well, here's all the reasons why I let go. And, you know, like we can easily justify and mold things to make it be like it's a wise decision to do, right? And it could be very well. But what I don't want is for you to like step away and wrap it in wisdom and be like, look, it's wisdom. It is what it is. And then for you to come back like 5 years later and be like, I always wanted to do this and I can't believe that I stopped doing it.
Or imagine, where would I be now?
Exactly. Because that's what you said when you started TikTok. It's like, imagine if I wouldn't have stopped. And so I guess I'm trying to like light a fire in you, but like, I guess light a fire in anybody who's listening, really, because maybe they are in your exact shoes, where they've gotten to a point where like, oh my gosh, like I don't feel like there's growth, right? And again, this is going to be part of my presentation.
You're giving them. Oh no, because it's.
Yeah, we do this on Thursday, and this bad boy comes out on Monday.
Got it. I was like, you're giving it away.
There is an analogy or like an example in Atomic Habits, and it's the ice cube. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember.
But it's basically like saying that a melting point of the ice cube is, and it's good that I'm saying this because I'm practicing for Thursday. But the melting point for an ice cube is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If it is in a room and you want that bad boy to melt, and that room right now is at 25 degrees Fahrenheit, you have to put in the work to get it to 32, right? You find out how you're going to do this work. But if you go from 25 to 26, that's progress. But guess what? That ice is not melting. You go from 26 to 27, that's 2 degrees of progress. That ice is not melting. You got to 28, 29, 30, even 31. And you're like, I've progressed so much. I look back and I'm doing all these things. I'm stacking up all these things, and still this bad boy is not melting. And it's not until you get to the magic number of 32 where you start seeing little drips coming from this ice, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's finally melting. And so could it be that you are, I guess you feel like you're back at 25 degrees? There was a point where that bad boy was melting and you were ecstatic. And again, our brains are hardwired, A, to do the easiest thing, and B, to always chase dopamine. Like that's hard for us to control. Those two things and so I'm like, let's not beat around the bush. Let's call a spade a spade. You were getting dopamine hits from seeing all the progress on your TikTok.
100%.
And if you were addicted to that, which I'm not saying you are in no way, shape, or form, but I'm just saying if you were addicted to that, and all of a sudden that drug was cut off from you, I mean, what's going to happen? Like, you're coming down.
And that's, I think, because there was a TikToker, I don't know if you know her name's Tiana. She has like 2-point-something followers on TikTok. And she went on Dr. Ament's podcast. And she was saying how she felt like a failure. And he was like, that's a lie. Like, you have succeeded so much at such a young age. Like, that's not true. And part of me wonders, like, okay, if God thinks I can handle it. And because I wasn't addicted. And I'm proud of myself because I feel like I grew it healthily. Mm-hmm. But I wonder, I think part of it is fear. And you said the list, like, what's another reason, right? Because I stopped getting, like, revenue as I stopped getting growth. And I didn't tie it to my identity. I could have easily been, like, moping around. Like, you haven't, I think you have, but, like, seen me moping and, like, oh, I'm such a failure. I'm not good for anything. Like, I didn't tie it to my identity. But I know a lot of people, that's such a very easy thing to tie to your identity because you are the brand. It's your face, it's your actions, it's your words. So when you are the brand and you don't see growth, they take it personal. Like, I suck. People don't want to see me. They don't like me. Then you get hate comments, and then it's literally tied to money. So it's like value. And so that's also scary. And so I wonder, one of the things it's like scared, like, can I handle it? Or like, do I want to get there just to like fall again? Because they say a lot of social media people, or not just social media, mostly social media, because celebrities, it's more consistent. But when it's like social media, when like algorithming, it's not, they say like it's crazy to go like so high to like these crashes. And he's saying, like, I see that in a lot of people, that it's normal for them. I mean, it's normal, but it's like people shouldn't be like that. With so much dopamine at one time, it's like hitting you to then just, you're at the lowest of lows because, And so that's another thing. I wonder if like my conscious, like there's like a fear, like what if you reach it? Like, can you handle it? Like how you said, the more power you have, or like the more success, like the more responsibility to maintain it and to keep it. And so is there a fear of like, I'm not good enough yet to get it, or I'm not going to be able to handle it, or I'm just going to lose it. And there's a fear of like getting it and losing it. And I feel like that's why I've been having my little spoon digging, because I have a fear of like, I'm just going to walk away from it or go back to nothing. And it's going to be so much more harder to start digging. Because I do look at my YouTube channels still, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this one was growing. Like Carrie and I, same thing. I'm like, what if we stuck with Girlfriends and Wine? It was such a great idea. And you see podcasters now who like started together in the space that I didn't know back then. Like I'm sure maybe they started, maybe not, but now they're like freaking millions in the world because it was new. And I'm like, Carrie and I were, shout out to Carrie, we were like talking about pregnancy like no one has talked about it before, talking about like vulnerabilities, and our baby mama dance got like over 75K on YouTube, which is a lot on YouTube, but it's like, that's a failure too of like, what if it just goes all like to nothing, which mind you is because of me, but yeah, or what if I can't handle it? So I think it's like a little bit of fear, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of like, what if this isn't from God? All up in there.
Do you think there's a little bit of self-sabotage in there too?
I feel like I've always self-sabotaged. Like I would be the person who never studied for a test. We've talked about this. Never studied for a test because just in case I failed, I could be like, oh, I didn't study for the test.
So, okay. So now that you've identified some of these things, which is amazing. No, for real. It's because again, like your story might be helping people and first of all, realize like, oh, I'm there too. Like I didn't really want to think about it. I didn't really want to put a name to it, but now that she said it, like, yeah, like that's how I feel. What were we going to say?
Well, I feel like it's funny because I think if someone's watching it, they're going to be like, the obvious thing, Grace, is to do it. Like, come on, you already have the following thing. Like, like, they'll just see it and be like, it's so easy to just go. Like, go. And so I urge people, because we hear stories like people, they don't want to start working out, or they don't want to start saving, or they don't want to start like, doing stuff. And we're like, the most obvious answer, it's like easy, do it. But when they're in their head, when their excuses are valid, like it's hard. So it's not just like, oh, if you see myself in your shoes, it's like, ask yourself, because it might not even come across like, oh my goodness, her thing is so easy, just do it. But then my thing, and then we see our thing is like different. And it's like self-analyze, be so truthful to yourself. Like maybe are you in a situation, or do you have a blind spot that you haven't realized? Like, oh wait, I'm doing that in this area or that area. Because I feel like, yeah, it's obvious outside looking in.
We are not ending this episode right now, but I will say we are most likely going to do a part 2, because we've been very busy dissecting Grace's story, and I'm hoping that a lot of you are relating to her story. Maybe you guys have advice for her. Maybe you guys have encouragement for her. Maybe you guys are in the same boat and you want to say, hey, like I'm there too. But I mean, I listed like 8 different things and we've talked through some of them, but like, I think it's really good that we focused on, kind of like dissecting your story and stuff like that, and getting deeper and deeper into it. So most likely we will have a part 2, because we are nearing the end of our time. But going back to you, like now that you've identified this, like there's some self-sabotage, and that self-sabotage is due to like fear. And now you're openly saying like, I have a fear that I might get to the success that I've always wanted, but I won't be able to handle it. Or I have a fear and I self-sabotage because it's easier to say that I had control and I'm the one who like messed it up, rather than like actually going for it with faith and going into the unknown and being able to fully trust and be fully, because I can imagine, like I see like almost like a little Grace version of you. Like to be honest, fully trusting for you is not easy.
Trusting?
Yes. Like I feel like you I guess this is going deeper or whatever, but like I feel like you like to portray trust and like seeing the good in everybody and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like when it comes to your personal life and having faith and really like living out fully faith in God, where just like, I'm just going to go, I feel like that is one of the things that truly stops you in your track with fear. I feel like I see like a little Grace, and you're like, I want to go out there. I know that the possibilities are out there, but I know the possibility of me achieving everything that I've wanted to achieve is out there, but I've never been out there. And it scares me because you are a 3. And the 3 in you will tell you if you fail, you're going to like feel like crap. And everyone around you is also going to be like, see, she failed. Or like whatever other ideas or thoughts might be like entering. Like, but I feel like that is like one of the things that like really stops you in your tracks. And I mean, for a lot of people, the only way to achieve everything that we've believed for our lives is to go into those unknowns, into those uncharted territories. And I like other people have chartered them, but I'm talking for you personally, like uncharted territories. And the thing is like, that is the only way that we can grow, is going into those uncharted territories, because in those uncharted territories, we reach areas in our life where we truly didn't trust God, but we are given the opportunity to trust God. And if it goes well, for a lot of people, this is how it goes in their mind. But if it goes well, then you're like, I know God to be this person now because I've seen it in my life. But there may be a fear in you and other people where they go, if I go into the unknown and I try to grasp at God's hand, and every time that I grasp, I'm not catching anything. And now I feel like I'm falling. And then you just, there's a fear that you'll come out crushed being like, God, where were you? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's more likely because you said about the little girl with like the people and the 3. Like, mind you, I feel like that probably will come at one point, but honestly, I have not thought about like people thinking I'm done with TikTok, because I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of like the number I reached. I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's nothing, but then I think about it and I'm like, no, that's pretty big. If I don't compare myself to others, but I see how you said, and I think this is like post my mom. I think that there was like a before and an after, like an innocence and then harsh realities per se.
Yeah.
And so I do see like a little girl going out into the unknown, but then yeah, like knowing God in a different way that I'm not ready for, and like that I don't want to know him in that way.
Yeah.
I think that's like the fear of like, if he's just like, no, this is not for you. And I like really want it. And it's like, I have it in my little cart and I'm like ready to purchase. And he's just like, no, but I don't know.
And you know what I just thought? Because I now like I'm starting to relate it with our relationship of like how many times back, especially back in our early marriage, where you would ask me for something, I'd be like, no. And you'd like flip out. You're like, how dare you say no to me? Like I'm not used to hearing the word no, whatever. Like, and that makes a lot of sense. And like maybe part of what scares you now, and I'm just like speculating here, but maybe the part that scares you also is the way that you would react if the answer was no, or the end was like, this was not for you.
Yeah.
Because like when I would say no, when you would hear no from me, you'd flip out, like fully flip out.
Yeah.
And so then you're confronted with, is that grace going to come out with a relationship between you and God?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's like a mirror. Like I feel like I put in the work. Like, well, you said it. I used to react that way. Like, I hope you're like, yeah, she doesn't react like that anymore.
Yeah.
And so I put in the work to grow, to get better myself. And then it's like, what if you're faced with the reality of like, you didn't, or.
But the other thing also is like, okay, I feel like you've gotten better because, and I believe this to be true, and I hope it is true, that I'm not fooling myself, but I feel like you got to a point where you were able to hear no from me because we got to a point where we practiced over and over again. Like, I could say no, but like I needed to do the work that I needed to do as a husband for you to like make you believe the truth that I do love you. Right? That was our biggest problem before, where I would say no and you'd feel like he doesn't love me. But like now, I mean, especially with the exercises that we did through couples therapy, one of the things was like, okay, like ask yourself, does he love you? And if the answer is, I do believe he does love me, then it's like, okay, I can handle this conversation that we're about to have, whether it's like a no or whether it's something that I don't want to hear. But at the end of the day, I know that this man loves me. So then also, is there a fear, do you think? And this could stem from like the things with like that happened with your mom. But like, is there a fear in you that you will hear or see a no in this area of your life or whatever area in your life, and that that thought will cross your mind of, he doesn't love me?
I think so. I don't think he doesn't love me. I mean, maybe. Or like I don't know, because I feel like if I say like he isn't good, like he's been so good to me, but it's just, again, that like that little girl, I think a little girl is not going to be rationalizing, is he good? Is he loving? Like they're just like, I feel safe. Okay, I want this, especially if like a healthy atmosphere, right? Like they're not rationalizing. And so I think, I don't know. I don't think if God says no, I'm going to just like, I would hope there's like sustenance there, but I don't, it's a feeling, like I said, like my dreams will be like broken. And I think I can recover from that, but it's just like, I don't want to, because I guess it gives me hope. And it's like, why live if you don't have that in like the back of your mind? Like one day it could be, you know?
Yeah. And I think that I would even call that like a core, right? Like, I mean, like when we look at situations, we usually look at surface level stuff, right? Like, okay, this is the reasons why, like, I don't do I don't do the things that I know I should be doing, you know, like fear, blah, blah, blah. But let's get to the core of it. I think to the core of it is like a lot of us, it's the core is, do I trust God? Do I believe he loves me? Do I believe he has these plans for me? Like, because some of them we might feel like are unanswered, right? Like we're hoping that it is part of his plans, you know, like, well, there's a passion in me and a drive in me and a dream in me. So like, I'm really hoping like that I didn't place that there. Like, and it's not like, you know, like I've controlled it or whatever. Like, I feel like, you know, this is God given. And then, I mean, the only way I think you can really know that somebody loves you is through tests and trials. But if we always avoid those tests and trials, then we're left with, I think he loves me. I think he has these plans for me. You know, like there's only, again, it goes back to, there's only one way to find out. It's to fully trust God, fully grab his hand, fully like, and hopefully we can have that heart of like Paul, where like, I know what it is to have and not have, like it's all good. Like, I really want this, but if it's not the case, you know, like, oh, well, I know there's something better.
And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, like let's say I go through this test, right? And I continue. And then it's like, okay, at what point is it just like, okay, 10 years you've been doing it consistently. Like, is it just a waste of time? Like it becomes vain, where it's just like, you're wasting your time, you know? Like it's like someone who's not good at dancing, for example, or singing, and they're like, I want to be a singer. And you're just like, it's not looking like anything's happening.
Well, I think, and now I go back to my pet peeve is like, everything is a science. So in this regard, let's say for social media, I think it's not just the work ethic. It's not just the consistency, although every single person, I would say 90 to 95% of people that have made it big will always tell you consistency. The algorithm rewards consistency. But I think also like, okay, once you have the habits of consistency, I think it is also like the creativity part the visual part. And those are like very minuscule things. Because I've heard almost everyone, like, don't worry about getting the best camera. Don't worry about like the lighting just yet. Like, yeah, like that's aesthetically pleasing, whatever. But the most important is consistency. And then that you're constantly like just showing your face and like, but I think that's the other thing. It's like, okay, once you got consistency down pat, then it's the creativity, then it's the marketing, then it's the looks, then it's the ideas. So the Better Everyday podcast sometimes gets emails, and it's usually from, I
didn't know that.
I don't know how to say this nicely. Well, it's not negative, but like people from the Middle East. Let's just say it like that. Or people from India, I think, mostly. I can't confirm this, but the names are like very like that, right?
From the other side of the country.
And if you're listening to this because they say that they listen, no offense.
He apologizes for his ignorance.
But I get emails from them, and then they're like, okay, like, and again, I don't know if it's just like they actually listen to it or whatever, but they'll go, the content is amazing. Your videos deserve a lot more views or whatever, but your problem is SEO, which is like
the search engine.
Yeah. Something about like certain words like trigger the algorithm, like certain clips or certain ways that whatever. Like there's that other thing to think about. Because in regards to like the Better Everyday podcast, I've always had like, like it is what it is, right? But then I had a conversation with somebody a while ago, and they're like, so like, what's your plan with this thing? Like when are you going to start trying to grow it or whatever? And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I guess we got the consistency down pretty like good. Like now it's, I guess, if we really want it to grow. But then there's, I'm sidetracking a little bit, but this is the last thing I'm going to say. I don't mind that it's like only 50 people or whatever. Like, do I think that more people would benefit? Yes. But I think if people truly thought that this was beneficial to them, that they would share it. And through the sharing, it would be word of mouth. So I'm like, if people aren't sharing it, then they think it's good enough for me to hear, but I'm not going to waste somebody else's time to hear this or whatever. And then like, I told this person too, I personally feel like, there's obviously certain like formulas or whatever, right? Like bring up a divisive topic and that'll get views, obviously. Bring up politics right now, that'll get views or whatever. Like bring this, that, whatever. Like, oh, do like a stupid joke or like offend somebody, that'll get views, whatever. Like, and I'm like, that's just not who I am. And I don't want to sell out to be able to like, oh, look at me. Like I got 10,000 views or whatever. Like big whoop, right? But anyways, my point is that after consistency, like there's all these little things that you also like want to check off as well. The creativity part, seeing what works and what doesn't work. Like if I'm going to be honest, I guess, like I've told you this many times, like when you do the whole ads or whatever, like, yeah, you get like whatever, X amount of, I was going to say the number, but X amount of money for like, oh, can you do this ad or whatever? And you'll do it. And every single time, hi guys, I have this product right here that has helped me so much and blah, 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 blah. And it's been so amazing. And you got 100 views. Every single time that kills your algorithm, whatever. So like taking that into account as well, like what works, what doesn't work, the creativity. You have one video that always works. It's the same thing every single day, but that one video always works. So it's just like, okay, I know that works. Okay. So how can I be more creative with that or whatever? Like there's different aspects. And that's where, again, it's a pet peeve of mine because then it starts becoming a science. Like how do I trigger the algorithm and this and that? But yeah, like, that it can be done, it can't be done. It's just, but I do appreciate your vulnerability and opening up to this. Like, cause again, like somebody might be in your shoes. Like I've been trying, I saw some progress, but then I got to a point where I was stagnant and now I'm having a hard time, like continuing like to do the right things. Right. And that's the whole point of part 1 of this episode. And we are definitely doing a part 2. But like, what are the things that are stopping us from going from the knowledge to actually activating that knowledge and doing these things?
Yeah.
Right? Because it doesn't serve anybody to just have the knowledge. It has to become practical. And for a lot of people like myself, like you, like there's things that are holding us back. There's things that are either tempting us or stopping us in our tracks with fear. Like we didn't even talk about the identity part, like the pride part. Like there's this whole vast amount of things that could be stopping us in a track. And then also I want to talk about like, okay, how do we start counteracting that so we can start building this bridge and so we can walk this bridge from knowing to doing. But yes, I really appreciate your vulnerability. And I'm glad that we got to dissect that. I feel like honestly, like when we first, okay, so this is just like a short story, but like when we first, before we started this, we would have our we call it wine and cheesecake nights with Nate and Carrie, and it would end up being like almost therapy, but also like just like
We'd pick a person.
like there's like it's almost therapy, but there would be also situations that we would talk about that we would like, okay, let's go deeper. Let's uncover that layer and that layer and that layer. And we'd go to like the very core and be like, okay. And this is one of the few times where I feel like we finally got to do that. And it feels so good.
David should just be like a therapist or like something. He likes going to the core.
I do. And like, I've tried to, it's not, I haven't tried, but like we've come up with these topics or whatever. And then my intent has always been to like do that. But sometimes we get stuck on just like, oh, let's the debate or like discussion or like the surface level stuff. But this one really like scratched the itch of like, we're going deeper. Let's go. And hopefully we get to do that on part 2 as well. Like digging deeper.
On you.
Sure. But I mean, you have to activate that. Like, let's peel that back though. But yeah, we still have to talk about all the other things because we've talked about your situation and a tiny little bit of mine. But again, there's the list of 8 things that I'm sure other people are dealing with. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's time. It's bedtime. But we thank you so much for taking the time to hear this episode. We really hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because we were peeling this beautiful woman apart, get into the core. She shed a couple of tears or whatever. And again, I appreciate your vulnerability, your openness, your transparency, your willingness to dissect things. And yeah, there will be a part 2. And maybe I'll give Grace the week off next week so she doesn't have to think about a topic. You didn't have a topic, huh?
No.
Okay, cool. Then we'll do the part 2 of this episode next week. And I hope you guys are looking forward to it, whoever listened to this. And yeah, just want to reiterate that we love you. We hope that you like and subscribe. And if you found this as a blessing to you or beneficial to you, we would really appreciate you sharing it. Word of mouth is our only way of marketing right now and our little clips. But yeah, we appreciate you guys, your time. And yeah, we're always praying and we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.